Spectator sport.
Jungle Halang, Holland Jungle.
Folks, thanks again for tuning in to Spectator Sport. Like I said, this is Ronnie Lott, the sports jock. I got talent with me in the building. Like I said, we enjoying the Heat celebration. Miami Heat was able to pull off a 4-1 victory in the NBA Finals. The Heat was victorious, basically, over the Thunder. LeBron James getting the MVP. Mike Miller went crazy in Game 5. Where he went 7 for 8 from behind the arc, tying the record for the most three-pointers made in a finals game. What do you got to say on the Heat's run to the title, talent?
You know, the only thing you can say is you're happy for LeBron James, a.k.a. King James. I mean, hey, I'm not even going to lie. I kind of doubted them in the Boston series. I think at some point in time, people doubted the Heat. But, you know, they played how they were supposed to play, and that's why they're champions right now. And they have two of the top 5 players in the NBA. So, I mean, there's really not much you can say. They dominated the game. They dominated in all aspects of the game. Even down low, they had more point paints throughout the series versus OKC. I mean, you couldn't stop LeBron, couldn't stop James, and then when you went down to double team James, Miller started lighting you up in the game, and it just the Heat, they played a perfect team game, and you can't argue with the result. The King is officially the king with his ring. So all you LeBron haters and your critics and all these other people,
Tonight I'm announcing.
Shh. That's the only thing you can say. Shh. The Heat of the champions. LeBron's the king. He's Finals MVP, and they played the ultimate team game. That's why they won.
No longer can they say, what's a king without jewelry? This king has jewelry now, finally. So, like I said, how do you think this is going to affect his legacy, and what do you expect from the Heat moving forward in the future, talent?
I mean, obviously his legacy, I mean, to me it's already been solidified with the 3 MVPs and the numbers he's been putting up with with the ring now. It puts him in the mention, top 5 greatest players of all time because, the guy's basically a walking double-double.
So you think he's top 5 currently?
A walking triple-double. With his talent, yes, absolutely. He's probably the best. He's probably the best. I mean, I'm not ever going to say he's better than Jordan just because Jordan always had that it factor, that instinct of you'll never be better than me. I do anything I want at that point in time on the court. But he is all-around game, rebounding,
shout out to Radio Raheem in the building.
Yeah, I mean, his overall game at the end of the day is probably the best we've ever seen in the NBA because he does it all. So, yeah, he's top 5 greatest right now to ever play the game. I mean, with this ring, that's what it does to me. That's what it says to me. With this ring, that's the only thing he was missing was the ring.
Top 5 greatest player of all time.
Yes.
You're saying. I don't know, Tyler. You may be going a little bit too far right now. He won't
rival Michael until he gets more rings and he shows more of that killer instinct. Top 5. I didn't say top 2. I said top 5.
I mean but I guess that's a valid question.
I'm not gonna say nothing. Well, this is what I'm gonna tell you. Is top 5. We're gonna basically this all boils down to this. At age 27, Mike had 2 MVPs. LeBron has 3 MVPs. He has a Finals MVP. I mean, what else? I mean, and Mike didn't have these same numbers as LeBron. LeBron's assists, rebounds, scoring is up there with the all-time greats right now. So if we're basing it off his numbers, he's top 5 all greatest right now with this ring. He has a Finals MVP. He has a ring. He has 3 NBA MVP. So, I mean, I don't know.
Spectator sport.
How many MVPs do Kobe have? Exactly. He has 1, right?
Kobe has 1 MVP.
That's crazy. How could Kobe Bryant only have 1 MVP?
Spectator sport.
I recall that, but I'm just telling you, based off LeBron's numbers, he's already proven that he's top 5 greatest of all time. The only thing that was holding LeBron back was his rings. So if you're talking about Michael Jordan, which everyone's trying to compare him to right now, at the age of 27, LeBron is ahead in the game. Now, is he going to get 7 championships, 7 final MVPs? No, but I don't think he needs that to have that discussion. I think he needs probably 3 or 4 rings to even have the discussion, because I think his numbers overall are going to be better than Mike's at the end of the day.
So let me ask you this. So does his effort at this particular point in time, does that take him over, let's say, a Kobe Bryant?
Tonight I'm announcing.
No.
Now that's the question.
Now that's very hard for me to do, because at the end of the day, Kobe has 5 rings. He has 5 rings. He has 5 rings. It's hard to just go ahead and put him over Kobe right now, but Kobe has 5 rings. And Kobe...
How can you put him top 5? It doesn't make any sense.
Huh? I think Kobe's top 5, though. What do you mean?
If you all about winning, what's your top 5 all time if you think 2 of the top 5 guys are playing in this particular era? So what's your top 5 all time?
My top
Jordan,
5 all time,
obviously.
I got Jordan ¡1. I got Magic. I got Bird. I got Kobe. And then I got LeBron.
And you gonna put Bird over LeBron?
Yeah.
Not athleticism
right
over
now.
LeBron. Even
I can't put, the reason I can't put Bron.
Nah, I wouldn't. If you look at those guys, their athleticism doesn't. You can't compare to LeBron's athleticism.
Winning though. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
But
I
if you
can't
play
put
on
LeBron,
a cheating organization that gets a Bird for nothing, come on.
I can't put LeBron above those other guys because they have more championship rings. Now, when LeBron gets 3 or 4 rings, which I think he's going to get, then at that point in time, he's shooting past everybody because his numbers are going to be way better, and he's going to have more MVPs than everybody. And then that's when you can have the legitimate conversation of between him and Mike.
Think about it.
You can't do it right now,
Magic didn't have a full career. The end of his career, his numbers were cut short because he didn't have a chance to have a full career.
But I still have Magic number 2.
All the same things that Magic was doing, LeBron's averaging more and doing all the same things that Magic did because he's passing like Magic. He's giving you double-digit assists, and then you tell me he's playing better defense and he can guard in the center position. And he give you, but this is the thing, when you got Magic and Bird, these guys played on franchises where if those guys weren't there, it would have been somebody else there winning championships because that's how the Lakers are built. That's how the Celtics are built. It's like those are championship organizations, you know what I'm saying? So it's not a sense of where we're looking at not the organization, something that they were able to do with his team around. We're talking about an individual player, what that individual was able to do and how he was able to do. Let's say you got guys, you telling me guys that are averaging 23, 22, you know what I'm saying? You give me guys, and you got a guy that's averaging like 30. And he's still giving you more assists, more rebounds. I mean, and he's giving you better defense.
Like I said, I can't put LeBron in front of those other guys just because of the ring factor. Once he gets his rings up there, because at the end of the day, bottom line is the NBA is about championships and it's about winning. Once he gets those 3 or 4 titles, I feel that at that point in time, you can go ahead and have that conversation between him and Mike. I think I'm always forever going to pick Michael Jordan, but that's just me.
I'm not saying he's top 5. I think he's top 5 talent, definitely. But, you know, I mean, I've never even considered it or even had that thought. But, yeah, but...
You can't rank him over Tim Duncan, can you?
Are you serious? Oh, that's not even a question.
I think Tim Duncan is the greatest power forward of all time.
That's not a question.
Tim Duncan is the greatest power forward of all time.
I understand Tim Duncan has 4 rings.
I think he's the greatest power forward of all time.
At the same time, if Tim Duncan would have inherited a Cleveland Cavaliers team, do you think Tim Duncan would be Tim Duncan right now?
Yes.
No,
he's a fundamental player.
No, he would
he's
not
a fundamental player.
Tim Duncan
I don't think that changes.
would not be Tim Duncan
if he
inherited the Cleveland Cavaliers. I don't think a lot of players would be who they were if they inherited the Cleveland Cavaliers. That 18-year-old kid that was from Akron, Ohio, saved that franchise. I know he didn't bring him a championship, but he saved that franchise.
That's true.
And in the midst of doing all the saving the franchise, he still was league MVP, and he still had all these accolades in the midst of saving the franchise, having the best record in the NBA back-to-back years. I'm sorry. I understand Tim has 4 rings, but I put LeBron over Tim. I'm sorry. I just can't do that. I'm sorry. I just can't. Now, if Tim Duncan was retired, maybe that'd be a different question, but just because he's an active player right now, I'm sorry. I don't see it. But I get that's my top 5. Like I said, the greats like Oscar Robertson, Wilt Chamberlain, guys of that nation. I can't appreciate them because I wasn't in that era. I wasn't really in the Bird but I watched them play a little bit. From what I remember Jordan on the sideline breaking them down and then hitting them jump. I have reminiscence of those situations. But like those other greats, I can't appreciate them because I didn't watch them. I wasn't in that era to watch them. So
say LeBron's top 5 in your lifetime then.
Top 5. Well, I think he's top 5 of the greatest, right? From what I've seen, you know what I'm saying?
I think when it's said and done, he will be a top 5 great, and he's probably be top 3.
Well, who's your top 5 then? If you question me about my top 5, who's your top 5?
My top 5, I'm gonna have to start out with Wilt Chamberlain, number 1. I just think he's an unstoppable force. I just think there's nothing you could have did with him. And then I'll go with like MJ, then probably like Bill Russell. Then what's your boy name? Oscar Robertson.
But a guy who never had a championship, you're gonna give him top 5?
I just think a person that can do everything on the court. I think more is asked of someone who can do more. You have players that are kind of one-tool type of players, but I just think a player of that nature where he can do everything. If you averaging damn near a triple-double,
but how can you put a guy who never got a championship ring in a discussion? And the top 5 greatest of all time. He never. You have to bottom line it sometimes, and the bottom line is. I don't care what your situation is.
You are individually.
But you need a ring to be discussed in the top 5, though.
LeBron's a greater player than Charles Barkley?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
So was Eddie Curry.
Eddie Curry's not, obviously. But I'm not talking about. I'm saying to be considered top 5 greatest of all time, you didn't get 1 ring. You telling me you won't put a guy? He didn't get 1 ring.
So you tell me Charles Barkley wasn't a great player?
It's top. Are you putting Charles in your top 5?
No, but he's a great player. He's a Hall of Famer.
We're not talking about great players.
Hall of Famer, you gotta get a ring.
We're not talking about great players. We're talking about top 5 greatest of all time. Most 90% of people, if they're gonna mention top 5, every person in the top 5 is gonna have a championship. It's just the way it is. It sucks.
Well, I put Tim Duncan in there. Tim Duncan could go number 5. I think Tim Duncan is.
So you gonna put Tim Duncan over Shaq?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think the Spurs team. I think Shaq is an underachiever. I think Shaq had top all-time talent, where a lot of times he had a lot of down years, he had a lot of injury years. We've been talking about his career, his individual career, and I don't think Shaq gave you that.
Probably the most dominant player in basketball history.
But
so it's
was he consistently able to do that? Think about Shaq over the last 3 years. Shaq could give you 2 minutes.
He played for 20 years.
But yeah, he played for a very long time. You're overlooking 4 championships, and they created
I'm not saying
Shaq.
He's a great player. He's a top 3 center. He's a top 3 center.
The strength of the rim of the
you had to restructure your game plan due to this man, and you talk about Tim Duncan. No, I understand that's your top 5, but I just don't see it.
Tim Duncan was able to succeed in the Shaq era, so that tells you even a lot more. And he was able to go through Shaq-led teams and still get his championships. Tim Duncan ain't lacking championships. So what does that say about Shaq?
Tim Duncan came in. First of all, Tim Duncan came in when they had David Robinson.
Come on.
Dude, he came in when they had David Robinson. You reckon he came in and carried the team on his back? He didn't come in and carry the team on his back. I don't understand why people think Tim Duncan came in there. Exactly. It was the Twin Towers, and he was a young player who was under David Robinson's wing.
1 year.
Plain and simple.
Exactly. David Robinson retired right after.
Yeah, but they got a championship that first year.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Exactly, because of David Robinson.
Nah,
It wasn't because of
it was because of Duncan.
Tim Duncan.
Duncan was a rookie of the year.
Look
Duncan
up
was
Tim Duncan's
killing
number.
him.
Go look up Tim Duncan's number. Go
Come
look
on. It was the Tim.
Hey,
I'm just calling it a
listen. Look up Tim Duncan's numbers for that season and that playoff run. I guarantee it wasn't because of Tim Duncan. Come on, dude.
Have you ever looked at those numbers?
Huh?
Have you ever looked at
Have I?
Exactly. He won't look at the numbers,
Have I?
folks, but he'll
No,
send you to
I'm
go
asking
look
you.
at it.
I'm
He
telling
doesn't
you.
read, folks.
Listen to me.
He won't read
I'm
it.
telling you. I'm telling
Did
you.
you
Don't look
do
at
the
the numbers
numbers?
because I'm telling you right now. He tried to give Tim Duncan credit for that championship. Where I don't think he should get credit for that championship because he was a rookie in the NBA. Don't try to give him credit
So was
for a ring
Magic.
that he really
Was the
didn't
Magic a
deserve.
rookie?
He was 19 when he won his first one. But I don't give that credit for him. I give it to Will. He was 19 years old. All the other role players around them were great. It wasn't Magic who won a championship.
Smith, you give him credit for
Who?
rookie?
Who? I didn't hear you.
Kenny the Jet Smith.
Oh, no, it's just Jerry. You said he went from three. He was a role.
rookie, you know what I'm saying?
No, he was a role player though. He's trying to give Tim Duncan primary credit for the reason of winning that
What do you
championship.
mean primary credit? He was an important piece of that team.
I don't
Not to
know.
say
He was not. No, he
Come on,
wasn't.
man. He's exactly.
No, he was not. Look up his numbers. I'm just saying, go look up his numbers. That's all I'm telling you. Go
Dude,
look
you
up the
come out
numbers.
of college, you #1 pick, and you win a championship.
Go look
What
at
are
the
you
numbers,
telling me?
son. Go look at the numbers.
Tell us
now,
the numbers.
so what you're telling me? I can guarantee you that Tim Duncan was not scoring 25 and averaging 15 throughout the playoffs and throughout the finals. I can guarantee you that he was not doing that. That would be an impact player. I'm not saying he didn't contribute at all, but I don't give him that ring. That ring, he was just a part of the team. He was a role player on the team as a young player. He wasn't the reason they won that championship. Now, if you talk about the next three, yeah, okay, then we can talk about the next three. But at that time, I'm not going to give him that over. I mean, I'm not going to put him over the top 5 over Shaq. I wouldn't do that.
Speaking of not giving the ring, how do you feel about Thunder players crying, especially Durant and all the embracing of his moms and the coverage that has been getting? How do you feel about that, Talent?
I mean, I understand the players, the emotion. I don't really, I don't understand because I'm not trying to compare myself to Kevin Durant or James Harden, any of these players, but I once played sports and I once was an athlete in high school. After my senior year and we lost a playoff game, I wasn't one of those dudes in the back crying because it wasn't a life or death situation. So I can't understand why these guys do that. I mean, why are you crying after you lost? I mean, I thought that should be motivation for you to be mad and get back in the gym and work harder and harder. And Kevin Durant with his peoples, you can't really have a problem with that because he's been doing that since he was probably a kid. So I don't have no problem with that. I just think all the crying is unnecessary.
So you had a problem with the crying. They had a problem with playing with emotion, caring about the team, and loving the players they play with. You have a problem with guys crying?
A 6'10" grown man boo crying like a jit. Kevin Durant, my dude, and all. He's nice on the court, but
Dude,
like I said,
jump.
listen to me. I can't see a big old grown man getting emotional, hugging his mama like he 5 years old. Like, I ain't saying, ain't nothing wrong with, going with your peoples and give them all that, all right, mom, good day. But when you boo, cry like a jit, and you a big 6'10", your mama like 5'5", it just kind of is awkward to me.
I definitely agree with you, man. But you know what? I say this, man. The Thunder, those guys are young, emotional guys.
Yeah, Kevin Durant gonna have 4 championships.
Like I said, it's a part of the journey. So I expect those guys to have tough situations where it's tough to deal with. I mean, you think about it. Durant and Westbrook played lights out. That's the way they've played all year. I mean, obviously they didn't get it done, but now let me ask you a question. Who do you blame? Because going into the series, this Thunder team was the favorite, and they were expected to. I had a lot of these pundits out there had the Thunder winning in 6, Thunder in 5. They didn't give the Heat much of a chance. So where do you think it kind of went wrong, and who do you blame for the loss in this series, Talent?
Let me tell you I hate this conversation with all these people after the game was over, and they're blaming this person, Westbrook, Scott Brooks, blah, blah, blah. You know who I blame for the Thunder's 4-1 exit in the Heat's championship? The Miami Heat. The Miami Heat put the clamps down on the Thunder after game 2. They shut down James Harden. They made it tough for all the outside shooters to hit spot-up threes because of their defense. They let Durant they let Durant get his numbers, but the rest of the team was shut down. The Miami Heat's defense is the #1 thing to blame for the Thunder's 4-1 defeat because, you know, they didn't get the same shots like they got in the San Antonio series. They couldn't run against the Heat like they ran against San Antonio because they matched them for, you know, athleticism. The Heat are just athletic. I mean, Russell Westbrook is, you know, obviously he's above and beyond probably anybody on the court, but at the same time, you still have guys that can stay in front of him. Norris Cole, when he was in the game, he did a great job from keeping him getting to the basket because he had quick feet.
Speaking of Norris Cole, how do you feel about his high top fade?
He had the boosty fade going on, you know, rock that boosty fade. Norris Cole, boosty out of jail. So, yeah, do your thing, Norris. But like I said, I blame the Heat. People need to stop blaming the coach and Westbrook and Durant not stepping up. Well, no, at the end of the day, they were playing the best team in the East. They weren't playing the 8th seed or the 5th seed. They were playing the #1 seed, well, basically the #1 seed because they beat everybody in the East, and they lost. So they got to the Western Conference Finals playing the way they played. So there's no one to blame besides the Miami Heat who put that lockdown defense on them.
All right. Now, speaking of controversies, I think after it was after this last game, some footage was released via World Star Hip Hop, the same footage that had the Bosch championship celebration. It had an NBA ref, I think it was Stu Jackson, the head ref, giving Spoelstra 5 after a made three-pointer by Miller. What do you say about that, Talent? And what do you say to the conspiracy theorist community who feel that the NBA is fixed and who feel like last year that he was the favorite and they lost and Vegas won? This year the Heat was the underdog and they won easily because they won in 5 games and Vegas won. So what do you say about it being fixed, Talent?
Well, I say those people are just losers. Now, the ref, I haven't seen the whole ref slapping Spoelstra high five, but refs have been known to do things like that, in the NBA. You've seen this inappropriate behavior from officials at some point in time throughout regular season games. I mean, they're talking up and with the players and chit-chatting up. It's like, okay, he slapped Spoelstra 5, but how you know he wasn't asking for Durant or talking to Scott Brooks before the game even started? Like, you don't, it's just the refs. Sometimes refs just get, you got to think about it. The refs sometimes get caught up in stardom just like you and me, just because they're officials and they see these guys every night, but they don't get to interact with them how they really want to, like fans of the game, which they are. They're human beings, so.
Can I just add to get his stats for rookie year? Tim Duncan, 21.1 points, 11.9 rebounds.
Double, 21 in the
Okay. So that's 20. How?
What are you talking about?
More time.
Top 5 great.
A little bit ugly.
Okay. So you tell me. No, time out. Time out for a minute. He's calling 21 and 11. Listen to me. He's calling 21 and 11. Listen to me. No, time out for a minute. I understand what you're saying.
3-time NBA Finals MVP.
Okay.
2 times NBA MVP, Rookie of the Year, 13-time All-Star.
Okay. That you got to do in his first year. What you got to do in his first year?
The Rookie of the Year one.
No, okay. The Rookie of the Year, that's what I'm saying. But 21 and 11 don't get nobody no championships. That's what y'all understand. He said 21 and 11. No, what are you talking about? Listen to me. You're talking about his accomplishment after his rookie. I'm talking about his rookie year stats.
21 and 11.
Okay, that's for the regular season. What was his playoff numbers?
That was the same shit.
No, it's not. But 21 and 11 does not get a team a championship. He was a role player. He was
21 and 11 is a role player, huh?
21 and 11.
Bosch is a role player on the Heat team? You think the Heat would have won a championship
Bosch is a
without
role
Bosch?
player on the Heat team. He is a role player.
KG's a role player?
Huh?
KG.
KG's a role. Yeah, who else? What else is he?
He's not a star?
No, KG's not. He
So
don't
why
start
is he
that
paying
team.
so much?
Paul Pierce and Rondo runs that team. KG's not the role player.
Pierce ain't
He'll
average
tell you that
21.
too.
Pierce ain't average 21. So Pierce is
No,
a bum?
what I'm saying, in 08, who was the star of that team? Who was doing the score? No, he was a big three, but who was doing the primary scoring on that team?
The big ticket.
No, he was not. Paul Pierce was. Go look at KG's number in 08 right now. At 21-11 does not get you a championship, and he still didn't pull up his playoff numbers. And like I said, he really only got. No, that was not his playoff numbers. That was his season numbers.
All right, let's talk about.
82 games.
Let's go ahead and
Be
move
for
on to
real.
relevant stuff, folks. Check us on Facebook, YouTube, Facebook Spectator Sport fan page. Please go ahead and like that. Check us on Twitter at Spectator Sport, the #1. Check us on YouTube, Spectator Sport, the #1. Once again, folks, you can also check us at Blog Talk Radio, Spectator Sport. It's your boy Ronnie Lott, the Sports Jock. Let's go ahead and talk about.
Next question, real quick. 20.7.
Okay, exactly. Not a walking double though. Not a walk. No, he's a role player. 20 points and 9 rebounds is a role player on a team. He's 6'10".
You research LeBron's rookie numbers in the playoffs. Oops.
Bro, come on. Did he go to the San Antonio Spurs with David Robinson, with Greg Popovich, with a team already in place? With a team already in place. No, LeBron did not go to that situation. So back up, friend.
They got swept.
No, I'm not talking about. You're talking about comparing rookie numbers. I say you can't because he went to a team. He went to a team that was a team and was ready for that championship with David Robinson. The work was already done. Go ahead now, Cortex over there.
All right, folks. Thanks again for tuning in to Spectator Sport. Now, what do you think about James Harden's finals performance? Do you think that's going to affect his re-signing? And do you think he's going to lock up with the Thunder for a long-term deal?
I mean, if I'm James Harden, I don't think the finals performance affects the relationship with him and as far as the contract situation. I don't think that has anything to do with why he won't be there. I think the Los Angeles Lakers need to step in and say, hey, Harden, Kobe's gone. You don't want to be a six man no more. Come to this side. That's why he's not going to be there, because he doesn't need to be a six man no more. And I don't even think they can afford to pay him, because I think it's between him and Ibaka who they should keep. And I don't think they're going to keep Harden over Ibaka.
You think they're going to start Harden over Kobe Bryant?
No, I said Harden's going to be a part of the Laker organization, and he's going to be second to, because he can play the guard or he can play the three. Harden is 6'6". He can play either one. He'll be undersized small forward, but he guarded LeBron on multiple occasions. So I think I think Harden leaves because a team like that's going to swoop in and get him, even though I think, especially if they give Ibaka the big contract over him, he's going to have to go elsewhere to get his max money. So that's what.
But after the finals performance, why would the Lakers want him?
Who? Because Harden's better than that. I just told you, it's not him. It's the Heat's defense that did that to him. It wasn't just him. It wasn't just Harden just had a bad series. No, the Miami Heat, top defensive team in the NBA. So you got to take that into consideration. People can say, James Harden just playing like so-and-so. Why do you think he's playing like that?
I promise.
He's playing like that because the Heat putting that pressure on him.
Think about that. Spectator Sport.
I mean, like I said, he definitely didn't step up to what he's played during the year, being the sixth man of the year and leading all fourth quarter scorers. But like I said, James Harden is still a valuable piece on that team. He was their bench. I mean, any team would be lucky to have James Harden on their team. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about keeping with the Heat championship theme. What do you think the guys on First Take are going to have to say now? I mean, guys like Skip Bayless won't have nothing to talk about. So are you still watching First Take? What do you think that Skip is going to have to talk about now that LeBron's won his championship?
Though they have nothing to talk about. I mean, the only reason you watch First Take is because you have nothing else to watch in the morning. There's all the sports talk shows on in the morning, and I'm not obviously driving to work, so I can't listen to the radio. So, I mean, I'm not watching First Take anymore because Skip was a joke to begin with, obviously. So there's nothing to really watch.
All right, folks. Thanks again for tuning in to Spectator Sport. Check us on YouTube, youtube.com/Spectator Sport, the number one. Check us out on Twitter at Spectator Sport, the number one. Check out our family, Holland Jungle, in the building. Check them out on Twitter at Holland Jungle, at Nando Chang 89, at Wicked Valley, at Muscle Beats. Check them out. Folks, and thanks again. Please go ahead and like those pages also. We have a Spectator Sport fan page on Facebook. Please like that. Go ahead and like Holland Jungle fan page. Like Nando Chang's, and also the wonderful and beautiful, lovely Jessica Vox. And go ahead and like her Facebook fan page also. Let's go ahead and talk a little football. This is a football sports talk show, Spectator Sport. You know, football is definitely our favorite event. I was going to talk a little NBA draft, but I had enough of the NBA. Like I said, it's fixed. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit of football. There's a lot going on. You got off-season camps getting ready to start up real soon. So... then you have another two months before it really gets going. Let's talk a little bit about
training camp starts in July, so
training camp starts in July. Okay, you got another month. Actually another 2 to 3 weeks really before things really kick off. How do you feel about Matty Ice? And we're going to talk a little bit about a few quarterbacks coming off of down years, and what do you expect from them going into the 2012 season. First quarterback, Matty Ice. How do you feel about Matty Ice coming off somewhat of a down season? When you talk about Matty Ice's high standards, what do you think he's going to do this year, and do you think he returns to form?
I mean, Matty Ice he didn't have a freaking great season, but he had a pretty decent season last year, and I think they should have an even better one with him and Julio and everyone being able to, be together another full year, work constantly, in practice and during the off season, and, to continue to learn from his mistakes. That, even though he's been a playoff quarterback, he still hasn't won a playoff game. So to continue to learn from his mistakes and just to get that offense more lethal with those receivers, I expect Matty Ice to have another, solid year. I don't think he's going to do anything like 4,500 yards passing and no outrageous numbers, but I think you have a pretty solid year because you have Roddy White and Julio Jones, and you still have a good tight end in Gonzalez, and they drafted another good tight end. So, and with the running game that they have, I think they'll, Ice to have a pretty solid year, but I don't think he'll be no ridiculous numbers though.
Okay. Next quarterback we'll talk about is the young quarterback from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Josh Freeman. Josh Freeman going into his third year in the league. His first year came out pretty well. Last year he had somewhat of a sophomore slump. How do you feel he's going to bounce back this year?
He also got a lot of weapons on that team now. We're picking up Vincent Jackson. Mike Williams will have to not see consistent double-double coverage. But with the new coaching coming in, the guy from Rutgers, Greg Schiano coming in, Freeman, you would think he would get better because he's going to have more weapons to get the ball to, but you never know with the new offensive coordinator, new philosophy, that's tough on a young player, especially if he's coming off a down year. Most of that could have been due to talent. He had nobody to throw the ball to, but at the same time, you're going to find out if Josh Freeman is going to be the future of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I know that much this year.
Let's talk about keeping the theme of quarterbacks. Which rookie quarterback you think is going to have the biggest impact? You have Ryan Tannehill, you have RG3, Andrew Luck, and you have Brandon Whedon.
You have to say that Andrew Luck is going to have the biggest impact on his team because the Indianapolis Colts can't get any worse than what they were last year. So if they can win a couple more games, I guess that'll be due to having an actual quarterback that can get the ball to their playmakers. So I'll take Andrew Luck at this point in time because the Indianapolis Colts can't get any worse than what they were last year with the quarterback play.
All right. Let's talk a little West Coast football. I mean, I know you're a big 49er fan, so you know a little bit about that division. How do you feel about Seattle's quarterback situation? And who you think should be the starter in Seattle?
I think the Seattle quarterback, that whole situation is just kind of just stupid to me. I mean, you sign Matt Flynn, then you got Tavares Jackson there, and then you go draft Russell Wilson. And now you're saying you're having a quarterback competition. So why did you go out there and try to pursue Matt Flynn so hard? If you knew you were drafting a quarterback and you obviously still have some type of confidence in Tavares Jackson, you created an unnecessary quarterback situation when you have a good, solid defense and a good running game. Now, if you wanted to get Matt Flynn, you thought he was going to be able to get you to the playoffs, you should have cut Tavares Jackson and then drafted a rookie and named Matt Flynn your starter. Exactly. But now you with this whole quarterback controversy, now we don't know who's going to be the first.
Obviously,
the
just
first
get
two
rid of
quarterbacks.
T-Jack. I mean, it makes sense.
That's taking reps from, everybody on the team. Like, you're taking reps from all the players because they keep taking snaps from different quarterbacks and they can't get adjusted with that one guy. I mean, I think that just puts your team at a disadvantage. I mean, if you really look at the numbers of when a team has a quarterback controversy, how often does that team win a Super Bowl and make it to the playoffs? I bet you it'll be a very low percentage. So by you creating that, when you have a good, solid defense, you have a running game, and you have some playmakers out there at receiver, but you don't have a quarterback, you just create that. Basically, you just put yourself out of the playoffs. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I mean, if you thought Matt Flynn was your guy and you pursued him the way you did and you gave him that money, you should have cut T-Jack and just drafted another rookie quarterback in Wilson, which would have made the most sense. But I just don't see Seattle this year, as making the playoffs. I mean, you're not going to contend with the 49ers. We're all set to go. I mean, the only question mark that we have here now is Alex Smith. Can you get the ball to our playmakers, that which you didn't do last year, which wasn't all your fault because the receivers couldn't get open.
Because you're Alex Smith and you suck.
But at this point in time, though, now you have the receivers. Now you're not gonna have no excuses. And we have the running game. We have a top defense in the NFL. So, with the 49ers, I mean, I don't see Seattle really competing against us. I mean, you got the St. Louis Rams in there. They're coming with a new head coach now. Sam Bradford coming into his third year now. But their defense is always going to be suspect. The running game is what it is if Steven Jackson can stay healthy. But they're still going to have questions at receivers. And their defense is not going to be, obviously, one of the top defenses in the league. So you really can't depend on them to win you any games. And with you still being kind of anemic on the offensive side of the ball, I really don't have a lot of, we're not really scared of the St. Louis Rams, the 49ers. So I see the 49ers coming out of the division again.
Yeah, I definitely can't disagree with you on that one. Like I said, the 49ers definitely look like the team to come out of that division, but I like the Bears to come out of the NFC next year. I think Jay Cutler should be able to keep it together, and if Matt Forte shows a little bit of his magic and comes back at least 90% of what he was before, just with that offense, I think they'll be explosive enough with, like you said, acquiring a guy like Brandon Marshall to go along, and then you can allow a guy like Devin Hester to work the slot and to really use his explosiveness and to really create mismatches in terms of using him in the slot and just on matchups against linebackers and safeties. So I think it's going to open up a lot for that team. As long as they're able to stay within the flow and their defense is able to continue to play that aggressive Chicago Bears-style defense, they should really look great. Now, let's talk a little bit about let's switch it up a little bit. I hate to talk about negativity and terrible things, but I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the verdict that was handed down in the Jerry Sandusky. He is a scumbag. So let's talk about the scumbag being found guilty. Justice finally is served, Talent. Well, I know if it was up to you, you would have shot him the day after. But, this is America. There's something known as due process. So we do got to allow him to get his due process. Go ahead, Talon. What would you have said?
I wouldn't have shot him immediately because I'm not saying that the man, I don't I'm not saying that he didn't do it, but at the same time, they're coming out so. This was such a incident that happened so long ago. You don't even know who's really telling the truth. Now, to say that he didn't molest any of those kids would just be stupid. I mean, obviously, there was something going on there, and that guy, Mike McCurry, saw him pulling a 10-year-old boy out of the shower. Whatever reason he had him in there, it was inappropriate, and obviously something was going on that had no business. But now, all these accounts that are coming out this late, now, are all these people being genuinely honest, or are we going to see a lot of lawsuits hit in Penn State after this guy goes to jail for a big payday? So that's why you can't really just put him to death immediately, because there's a lot of people out there looking for a payday, which you can't really blame them. If you see a situation, get your money. But if it's at a cost of another person's life, hey, it is what it is. I mean, he shouldn't have put himself in a situation to open himself up for people to come accuse you of sexual abuse. But he did. I mean, they found him guilty. But like I said, how many people are actually telling the truth? How many people are waiting for that big check to get cut by Penn State after this is all done with?
Like I said, it's a despicable situation. I'm glad that he was found guilty on 45 of the 48 counts. Like I said, man, where there's smoke, there's fire. If it's a known fact that you take a shower with kids, ain't nothing you can tell me. You can save it. Ain't nothing else we gotta talk about. You take a shower with other people's kids. We can't talk no more. The conversation ended, Scumdusky. See you in jail. Hopefully you can take shower with other people's kids now. Let me see you drop the soap now, Scumdusky.
Hey, that guy, like, he's just like, when you look at him too, it's just like not a pleasant thing. Like, he looks like he's just a one big creep bar. I don't know how he was a freaking football coach.
I know I guess football coaches are disgusting animals. I mean, he just sat around being a pedophile, trying to coach his way into your kids' pants. What's wrong with this fool, man? But let's go ahead and talk about something else, folks. I don't want to stick too strongly on that. Let's talk a little bit of beef. Can I get that drop one more time? Like I always say, people, I'm a vegetarian, but sometimes I need a little bit of beef. Sizzle for me. Let's go ahead and talk about the recent beef that's been going on via wax. Because in hip-hop, we beef on wax until somebody else get killed. But we're talking about Lil Wayne versus Pusha T. And that's Good Music versus Young Money. That's a hell of a battle. I guess... how do you feel about this beef, Tyler? You know a little bit about it?
Well, it all started with Pusha T coming at Drake and saying you signed to a dude who signed to another dude, and basically attacking YMCMB because he hating when people get money. So I guess he just wanted to be a hater, and Wayne came back at him. So there's really not much to talk about. Wayne laid the diss track. It was kind of weak, Wayne, but at the same time, he just came out to defend his artist. I mean, Pusha T, why you selling out dudes who getting money? It don't matter if he could be signed to 3 labels, but if he got $25 million in the bank account, I don't care if I'm signed to 10 labels. How much money you got in the bank, Pusha T? That's what the bottom line is. You can hate all day. Wayne worth $85 million. What you worth? This man almost worth $100 million. Drake worth $25 million. What is that about?
Where you be getting your stats from? You should be... folks, please disregard any numbers.
Excuse me, what did you just say, Cortex?
So where do you get your stats from?
What do you mean where I get my stats from? Forbes. Where else do I get my stats from? Forbes, like everybody else. Wayne worth $85 million, Drake worth $25 million. What is Pusha T worth? Not a dang thing. He's not even in the conversation. He's not worth Forbes even mentioning.
Hold on.
But what? There's no buts.
What's the homeboy's name?
Drake?
Nah. Don King is not on the Forbes list. And Don King's sitting on $1 billion.
But we ain't talking about, we're talking about when they list top 10, listen to me, when they list rappers, Pusha T's not on that. What do you list at Don King? Are you comparing them to other promoters? Or not? If they did a list of promoters who worth so-and-so amount of money, I guarantee Don King makes that list. I don't know if they ever made that list. Do you? I have no idea. But I know they make lists about rappers or who are worth how much. I know they do that list, and like I said, Drake's worth 25, Wayne worth 85. There's nothing to talk about. I don't care if they signed to 3 labels or 5 labels. At the end of the day, it's about getting money, and that's what they're doing. Pusha T need to focus on getting money and making records, and not worry, focus on Drake and what he's doing.
I mean, he with good music, so he definitely.
He can be with good music all he want, but if you ain't got the style and you can't deliver like Big Sean and the rest of the artists is on there, you ain't gonna make no money.
Pusha T can deliver.
Pusha T can't deliver nothing.
He should be able to do it.
Come on, bro. That dude made the one song, What Happened to That Boy, with Birdman and all them boys. That was about it. That's a rap. That career's been a rap.
Wow, Talon, you're not a big fan of the clips, I take it.
I mean, I'm not being a big fan of the clips. I just hate when dudes like you come out here and speak on this other man. You signed to one dude who signed to another dude. If that's not making it, blah blah blah. Like, what are you talking about? What am I seeing is $25 million one dude's worth and 85 another dude's worth that's signed to those labels. So what are you talking about? And this happens all the time, anyways. Who do you think Kanye's signed to? You think Kanye's good? You think Kanye is not signed to somebody? He's signed to somebody too. So what are you talking about? I don't understand what that reference even means when they talk about that. Like, you're signed to this dude who signed to this dude. Well, Kanye signed to somebody and you signed to Kanye. So what are you talking? I don't understand. It just doesn't make much sense to me. But Pusha T just, at the end of the day, it's about hating, I guess. I mean, I don't know if he's trying to get publicity or what, but...
Folks, thanks again for tuning in Spectator Sports. It's your boy Ronnie Lott, the Sports Jock. Let's go ahead and talk about some up and coming mixtapes that you definitely got to check out on DatPiff, that you definitely got to go ahead and cop. We got Blame It on the Muscle. Muscle Beats presents what was that? Flex With Me, Volume 1. That you should expect that sometime mid-July. You can definitely catch that on DatPiff. Got the great single Paper Stacks by Nomad. Got the other single Heavy, Muscle Beats featuring TSU, Casino Lucci, and Gun State Nate. So definitely look out for that. What's some big mixtapes that you looking out for? I know Tone Bone got something coming out real soon, fourth quarter at time. So I'm definitely looking out for something real special from the young man Tone Bone.
I'm looking for a new Boosie.
Oh, what happened?
What are you looking for? What are you looking for?
Well, I'm really not looking for it or anything. I mean, Wayne just dropped out I'm Not a Human Being. You know, I got that downloaded, listening to that right now. Gucci got the I'm Up, obviously, out there. Been bumping that for a while, but I really don't have anything I'm looking forward to listening to so far. I haven't seen anything that was coming out.
What was the most uplifting message Gucci gave you in that new album?
Anytime You're Ready, that track that he dropped with Birdman, It Take Money to Make Money, Anytime You're Ready. That was that's the message right there, that when I heard it, something came over me and I just felt a certain way about that whole track. So when I get in my car, I listen to that track. I have to listen to the whole song before I get out. Anytime You're Ready, Gucci Man, I'm Up, featuring Birdman, 2 dudes in the business. Right now, getting money, see Birdman on the sideline at the Heat games, diamonds everywhere, boy doing real big things. Gucci Man, Magic City, Mondays, blowing it big. This is what these boys talk about. It take money to make money. Anytime You're Ready is the name of the track. People go check it out.
Let me give a few shout-outs before we get out of here. We'll talk a little bit about the U.S. Olympic trials. The Olympics is going to be on in another 6 weeks. I always love the Olympics. I look out for a few great events. Look out for Walter Dix in the 100. He's going to be the guy between him and Tyson Gay to see who's going to be able to push.
You know, Tyson Gay doesn't even look that fast when you watch him run. Yeah. I don't know how he moves that fast. Obviously, he's fast, but when you look at him, it doesn't look like he has blazing speed. And he's not a tall guy either, so you can't say, oh, she has a heck of a stride like Usain Bolt. Like, Bolt doesn't look fast, but his stride is so long. It's like when he runs, it doesn't look like he's trying. But Walter Dix, I mean, hopefully you get it done. Hometown kid, Cold Springs. I mean,
definitely. Hopefully we can get Walter Dixon for an interview. Definitely working on that. But we're definitely gonna do a whole Olympic edition of Spectator Sport. There's so many sports in the Olympics. So many captivating stories that goes with it. So like I said, I look forward to the Olympic trials today. Once again, I want to give a shout out to my girl Lolo Jones for making it in the 110 meter hurdles. She came in third place, just making the team. Like I said, I've always been a big fan of Lolo. She's mixed. She got that nice, pretty hair, and she like a 28-year-old virgin. So, props to Lolo Jones.
Lolo Jones. I don't know if you're gonna get that gold medal that you've been aspiring for if you come in third place in the trials right now. I don't understand how that's going to translate to winning the gold.
Hey,
that's how I actually answer the question.
Let me get my UFO.
She want to win a gold, but you coming in third place? What's up with that? I don't understand. Whatever.
Folks, let's go ahead and give you the segment that everybody tunes in for. Let me get my You a Fool and You a Fool, you.
Didn't I tell you to get Jessica Vox to do that for me? Do I have to pay her to get on this track? Do I have to say it's going to come out the money?
Give me a second. Let me get my Bobby Brown on. You a fool, you a fool, you.
That sounds like, I don't know what that sounds like. That sounds like a...
Folks, let's talk about the foolish things that you've heard over the last week. Some of the foolish things that's going on in the world around us. We see fools around us every day, and sometimes you just gotta stop and you gotta stop somebody and let them know you a damn fool. You know, just like LeBron James said. They asked him, "How do you feel, LeBron James?" It's about damn time. So how do I feel? You a damn fool. Let's go ahead and talk about the fools. Let me give you. You want to give me your You a Fool talent?
Oh yeah, my You a Fool is a 5-year-old boy in New York City.
Folks, let me
He sent Brandon Jacobs $3.35 out of his piggy bank because he wanted Brandon Jacobs to stay on the New York Giants. Now everybody was like, "Oh, that's such a sweet story." Oh, I think he's an idiot. I'm sorry, the kid's just an idiot. If your parents really didn't sit you down and say, "Hey, genius, this is not gonna keep him in New York." Now I know that kid's not gonna be a finance major because he sent them $3.35. So I mean, Brandon Jacobs took the jit out and gave him $5 to put back in his piggy bank, took him to Chuck E. Cheese, obviously, shut down the whole Chuck E. Cheese. They were, his parents were the only ones in there with Brandon Jacobs and his son. But the kid's still a fool, though, because he thought $3.35 was going to keep Brandon Jacobs in New York. So we don't see a rocket scientist in his future.
And my You a Fool is going to be Skip Bayless for making a career of bashing LeBron James for not being able to acquire the ultimate goal. Now that the ultimate goal is acquired, what are you going to do now? Are you going to rebrand yourself as the LeBron James lover? Skip Bayless, you my You a Fool. What the hell y'all going to talk about now on First Take?
Peace. Not a damn thing.
Spectator Sport. That's how we do it, baby.